Like any other product that we ever introduce, we typically work with a major sign company to develop a product. So we work the bugs out prior to introducing it. Each one has a different degree of light transmission. So depending how much privacy you may want in your conference room or on a window, that would drive the selection of which finish you would select for that privacy film.
Now you have this, you got your cap, and then what is this little middle piece here? Hello, hello. How's everybody doing on this beautiful day? So I want to let you know that we bought the building in June, and right off the bat, it had that ugly 80s, that Navajo white they called it. It was an ugly yellow the 80s all loved. We're getting the building painted today. It's going to be turned white. The trim's going to go black. It's going to be beautiful. We have palm trees coming in, so it's like the final touch. The inside's been beautiful for months, but the outside, not so much. So really excited about that. So those are the new changes over Square Course. We're pumped on that. One of the problems that our industry has that we all are painfully aware of is they have new products out there and new ideas, but we don't get to see them. We don't see what's out there. And so we brought in two really good friends of mine. I asked them to come on board. They're excited to be a part of this. So Matt and Carter, thank you very much for being here. You guys are the middleman. You guys are bridging that gap between, the products and this actual sign companies get to know them. How cool is that?
It's awesome. It's been a fun career, and I've been doing it for 30 plus years. Carter has joined me a little over 2 years ago. And yes, we serve as the liaison between the manufacturers of the products, the distributors that sell them, and the sign shops that use them. So it's a fun position to be in and filled with learning experiences daily.
I bet. How did you even get into this? How did you get into this business?
I started off out of college. I started selling office equipment, copiers, fax machines, which I don't know if everybody even knows what a fax machine is anymore. But that led me to look for another job to get out of being in the copier and fax machine sales world. And I had a friend that referred me to the owner of a sign supply company named New England Sign Supply outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and I hired on with them. I worked there for 3.5 or 4 years, and then went to work for Arlon out of Santa Ana, who's a manufacturer of pressure-sensitive films. I worked for Arlon for 4 or 5 years, took a job with a water-based paint company out of Germany, and set up distribution for that company. And then in 1996, I hired on with an independent rep group. And 2 years after that, I started my own manufacturer's rep group, which at the time only included me. But now I've recently expanded to include Carter, and Carter is my son, and we've enjoyed working together for 2 years. And
hey, that's how I got in the industry. My dad was in it and he dragged the family along, and I'm thankful for it every day.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was around it my entire life growing up. And then when I graduated college, I did some inside sales with some companies and was looking for a long-term career. And that's when Matt decided to bring me on. And it's been a great 2.5 years.
It's awesome. I love it. So you don't call him dad, you call him Matt most of the time?
He's Matt to me most of the time. He still sometimes gets dad thrown in there.
So I called my dad Steve, I would say for the first year. And then I went, you know what? No. And so I've called him Pops ever since. So no matter what meeting, no matter where we go to, my Pops, what do you think of this? And that's the way I rolled it. But yeah, I was with you for a while there. I was like, no, separation of church and state. We got to figure this out.
Right. Exactly.
I love it. I love it. So you started repping other people stuff and just kind of going in there. And, one of the biggest things why I'm so excited you guys are here is because I've always been rattling this chain of, I don't know what's out there. I don't know what's new. I don't know what's going on. And I get to see you guys, once a quarter, and you guys have so many sign companies you're talking to that you can only give us once a quarter. And I get it. There's only much time you guys have to give us the new products. And then when you give us the new products, it's usually quite a bit. I don't remember all of it. And I get a fraction of what information you guys should have been giving me when I was working for the sign company. So How have you guys been combating that? I mean, obviously your whole purpose is combating the knowledge base of what's out there, but what do you guys see on your side of the table?
Well, getting the new information out is a challenge. So, the old school method would be for us to make sales calls in person, first through distribution and then through the actual sign shops or print shops, depending on what the product is. As our industry has grown, there's more marketing tools, websites, marketing departments that email through, a CRM tool,
Mhm.
that sort of mechanism to get the word out. But I still find personal calls are important. And so I guess it's a combination of all the marketing electronically as well as the personal calls through distribution. We use our distribution network, I would say, pretty aggressively
Mhm.
and try to make them messengers of our new products as well. So, for instance, right now, Nakusa has a new product that they're launching. And just so everyone knows who Nakusa is, because they're a fairly new name in the industry.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know who they are.
Nakusa started out really making carbonless paper. And as the carbonless paper market has shrunk, Nakusa has acquired wide format print companies to continue growing their business. So I think 13 years ago, they acquired a company named R-Tape, and probably everybody knows the R-Tape brand, which is application tape to transfer cut vinyl letters or use as a masking on digital prints. After that, they acquired Catalina Graphic Films, which is in Las Vegas, but changed that name to the Nakusa line from Catalina or Mojave, wide format print media.
Okay.
So they continue to acquire companies. Recently, they acquired Decorative Films, which is a company that makes privacy films that you can print on. And they'll continue to acquire companies as time goes on. But the newest product that they've released is called Next Bond,
Okay. And what
and
does Next Month do?
Next Bond is the next adhesive coating technology in our industry. So,
That was a lot of big words. Dumb that down for me.
yep, I'll dumb it down. Basically, what happens is instead of coating with solvents or water as the carrier of the adhesive, they bring in the adhesives with the solvent already dissipated out of it. So what that does is, number one, it's the strongest bonding material that we know of in the market. So when you run that adhesive, you adhesive coat onto the liner, and it starts in a drum. You heat it up so the viscosity is thinner,
and
and it
able to spread over the liner.
Okay.
go ahead.
And from there, you'll go and our coating process we'll spread it onto the liner and run it under UV lights. Those UV lights are going to activate the photo initiator and to cross-link the adhesive onto the liner.
That's a lot of words. It's a lot of big words there. So basically, is it a liquid or a solid that it comes out of the starch before you heat it up?
It's a liquid.
Okay, so
So
it's a liquid.
it comes out as a liquid, goes
Mhm.
onto the liner. The UV lights flash it.
Okay.
Okay. So
And that starts the drying process.
that initiates it activates it as a real adhesive on the liner. So that adhesive is going to stick
Mhm.
to the vinyl film. So what in the end, that adhesive is what is going to stick to your substrate with the face stock of the vinyl upward. Okay, so
Okay.
you're just mating the silicon liner keeps the adhesive moist. The vinyl film has a permanent bond with that same adhesive. So very similar to what you would do with a water-based adhesive system
Mhm.
or a solvent-based adhesive system. So in this case, there is no solvent. So first priority is that it's a top quality product. Second priority, I would say, is that it is a relatively green adhesive system. So there's absolutely no solvents in this product whatsoever, yet it is as strong or stronger than current solvent-based adhesives.
Sounds amazing to me. I mean, I'm not going to lie, from back in the days, I know solvents aren't as smelly as they used to be, or they didn't even have a smell to them. But as soon as I hear the word solvent, I'm instantly like, plug my nose, get me out of here. This is not where I want to be. You smell all those chemicals going up into the air as it's drying. So to have that at that next level sounds great. It sounds amazing. Printers? Is it flatbed? Is it rolling printers? Is it all the above?
All the above. You can print it UV, solvent, eco solvent, and latex.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you had something here, right? You had like, what were we looking at over here for this next one?
We brought over our marketing piece.
Okay.
So
and then is this something different?
This is for the glass finishes line.
Okay. So this is something different. Okay. So we have the next bond. We'll get a copy of this for our watchers on YouTube here and put this up on there so they can take a look at this and what this is for the next bond. Yeah. So they'll get an option of this and, oh, wow.
We have a printed sample of it over there.
So we have, I'm looking at, just off the size of me, I'm looking at 15 different mini products inside of this, from the gloss white to the matte white. Yep. So let's see what we got here.
So here, the way we have it initially is we have basically white and clear wide format print media in 54-inch rolls, 50 yards long, which is basically the common put up for print media in our industry. We have it without Aerogress liner, or we have it with Aerogress liner. We have it with matte, gloss, and luster finishes of laminate, and those laminates are put onto a poly liner. So our gloss clear is an optically clear finish to it. The poly liner also gives you more surface contact, so you have a better bond when you laminate your film over your print.
Okay, gotcha.
And then we also have a lineup of mounting adhesives, a little bit of an older technology, but we're using the UV Cure adhesive system for mounting adhesives as well.
Now, with it being UV that fires it off and flashes it off, is this exterior rated? Small segue here. Want to talk to you guys about Square Coil software and what it does for your companies. If you're the type of guy that's still doing pen and paper and you think you're rocking and rolling, you just might be, but you're not running at the most efficient pace possible for yourself. Imagine doing a report. You want to know how many sales each salesperson did for the entire year. So you sit down and get all your books out, and it takes you 2-3 hours to build this Excel spreadsheet, and you got your answer. But what if you could just click a button, and then your 2 or 3 hours are back in your hands, and you can evoke change inside of your company for those 2-3 hours versus building a report? That's what Square Coil software does for you. That's what we bring to the table in the way of efficiency. So check us out if you're not using us.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we recommend it. It can go up to 7 years outdoor.
That's awesome. That's great. It's so funny from the new technology that you have. Remember the old technology in like 2 years it would burn black. You couldn't see it anymore. And now you can print this out so much faster than the vinyl, so much faster than laying it down. And it stands the test of time for the most part. I mean, most people's marketing changes inside of 5 to 7 years anyway. So about with the time that this is starting to degrade, sorry, James, turn to marketing anyway.
Absolutely. It's a great product. And Nakusa is the first in the United States to have this type of technology.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So no solvents, UV fired off. So with no solvents, I'm going to vote for no smell.
Correct.
Yeah. And you can apply it wet or dry. So you can use a solution to apply this. It won't get cloudy. It's going to perform very similar to a solvent based adhesive system.
Now, if you put it on wet, does it have little micro pores, or that just has to do with the substrate and the ink still allows it to breathe through?
It doesn't really have micro pores in the face stock itself. It's an enhanced calendared film.
Okay.
So it's a high grade polymeric calendared face stock. The only time you would see anything micro would be if you're using the Aerogress liner, and then that gives you the micro channels where you can squeegee air out from underneath the vinyl film itself.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought I died and gone to heaven when they made that stuff. So
Yeah,
much
a
easier
lot
to
easier
apply.
to apply.
So much
Absolutely.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our other liner is just a straight 90-pound paper liner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a price difference between the two.
Yeah.
But an advantage that you get with the UV cure technology is that you can run it faster and you don't need a big dryer or an oven to dissipate the solvents out of the adhesive.
So say I had like a 4 foot by 4 foot and you put it under that UV, and the UV is just that seam, right? And it goes right by it as it fires off and dries.
Correct.
How long before I can touch it? Do you know?
Well,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
you
put you on the
can
spot.
no,
I'm just
no,
asking.
you can touch the face stock up. You mean be print when it's printed or
Yeah, as soon as
before
it's printed.
printed?
No. So it prints, it comes out. We've used the new inks, I'm calling it inks for lack of a better term here, onto the substrate, and it comes down and gets fired off by the UV. It dries, and then how long before you can touch it and play with it?
Well, we're two different UV cures here.
Okay.
Ours is just on the adhesive itself.
Mhm.
So, and this adds to the confusion of this product and the terminology of UV cure.
Okay.
Because most of the time when people hear UV cure, they think that, okay, we're talking about printed UV inks
I fall in that category. It's exactly what I
onto
just
the
did right
face
now.
stock of the film. Where we're
Old
talking
wise
about
one,
is
educate me.
this we're talking about here, just the adhesive system itself before it's printed. So if you were to run this, coat it, we run it in massive rolls, and then we
Mhm.
convert it down into 54-inch by 50-yard rolls. So we're going to run these giant rolls of vinyl film. Okay.
Ah,
Then when it
okay.
gets converted to those rolls,
Mhm.
a printer will purchase it and then print it with their UV inks or solvent
Mhm.
inks or eco solvent or latex inks. And that time for it to dry will vary within each ink platform. So it depends. If you're printing UV, it dries pretty quick. We always recommend wait 24 hours before you apply it. But
Fair.
that's
That
not
makes
always
sense.
the case where people have time
Yeah, no, it is
to
there.
do
Okay,
it
so
that
it
way.
is the substrate of the stickiness and the bonding. Not only is it doesn't have any solvents to it, but the bonding adhesive is way better than the typical.
Correct.
Got it.
Yes.
Now I'm on the same page. Don't look at me, guys. A couple days here, I'll get this figured out. So, all right. So the substrate we're looking at, and the bonding mechanism is a lot better than what we've been seeing lately. God forbid I had to peel it up. What would happen?
Depends which adhesive was coated onto the film. So we have these adhesives in removable
Okay.
and permanent. So the removable adhesive is going to lift up a lot easier than the permanent, of course. Okay, within 24 to 48 hours, it'll be very difficult to lift our permanent adhesive.
Okay.
The removable should come up relatively easily up to about 1 year. Then once you hit the 1 year mark, any adhesive of removable starts to begins to build permanence
Mhm.
uh, onto the substrate
Yep.
that it's on. So typically, there's a 1 year
Okay.
removability to a vinyl film.
And that makes a lot of sense. And I'll be very honest with you. I remember back in the day, we would sell temporary graphics for some of our restaurants, and we didn't have any knowledge of temporary films. And when we had to go remove it, we all were cussing up a storm and we hated it. And so the growth of the temporary the substrates has been amazing. Like that's a godsend that's come into the market. So it's brutal, but way better on this one. So okay, so you do have a temporary, and which is awesome that they hit both points. Not only do you have this amazing bond on day one, but we get it. It's temporary, and we also can hit take care of it on that side. So very cool. All right, so
Yeah.
you guys brought a plethora of toys and whatnot to show because I mean, how many companies are you guys repping these days?
We have our major lines are SignComp, Nakusa, Principal Industries now, which is
Mhm.
Principal Sloan LEDs,
Yep.
Lord Adhesives, which is now Parker Lord, Wieland Metals, which is aluminum sheet and coil. Those are our main product lines, but we also represent Keen Cut, Stacks, Hafner
Mhm.
saws, more peripheral products for us, but they are, aligned with our
Mhm.
product mix. So really, we have five majors, I would say, that we sell through Sign Supply Distribution and
Yep.
that are available to the sign shops, through select distributors.
That's a lot. So you guys are just going to promise me you're not going to start a sign company, right? Because your guys' knowledge can be way surpass all of ours with all those companies.
No plans on doing that.
Okay, good. I feel safe now.
Hey, the truth of that is we still learn a lot from the sign companies, and that's who we go to when we have new products or we need help with an existing product because you guys use them, whereas we make them, but we're not always involved with the everyday use of not only the products, but the products being used together with other products. And if you're using vinyl, you're usually putting it onto acrylic, foam board, uh,
ACM.
Yeah.
yeah,
No, there's so
plethora
many
of,
now.
of
Yeah,
substrates.
absolutely.
But
ACM, that was another game changer. That thing was so much nicer than using straight aluminum for the channel letters and everything else we use it for. Lightweight, easy, and hard to bend. And that was one product that we just got in our shop. I forget years and years ago. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. So no, I dig it. I love it. All right. So we have this thing. Looks like a kaleidoscope met stained glass window here. Talk to me about that. What do we got here?
Yep, this is going to be the glass finishes line from Nakusa that we were talking about.
Okay.
So we have it in a dusted crystal, frost, sandblast, light etch, and deep etch. These are all printable using UV, latex, eco-solvent, and solvent inks. And one that is not on there is our bird safety film. So this bird safety film is going to come with these dots printed onto it, and you put it on the interior, exterior of a glass building. And when birds fly near it, they can see the dots and register that they won't fit through there, and they'll pull up in order to avoid smashing into the window.
But to the naked eye, can we see it?
You can, but not super clearly. It will be a little hidden.
Okay. So for the most part, we still see clear glass and the birds are saving lives.
Yep.
All right. People, get your pocketbook out. We're saving the birds now. You got to be careful on this one. So I'm looking at my hand here and I'm going through this, and literally like this first one here, I can almost see my hand straight through. So hardly any. That second one, forget it. There's no way you can see through that. And then the third one, fourth, fifth, and those. So you got the different shades of them.
yeah, each one has a different degree of light transmission.
Mm-hmm.
So depending how much privacy you may want in your conference room or on a window, that would drive the selection of which finish that you would select for that privacy film.
I like it. That's pretty cool. This is something that, I'm going to date myself here, but you had dusted or frosted, and that was it. That was your only two choices. And then 3M started with their line, and now Nakusa's got this line out and a bunch of different opacities where now you just pick your opacity and then digitally print whatever you want onto it. Just open the door to so much more.
Correct. Yeah.
We would always get funny with the designs. I mean, that's how we fought it from just having that solid 4-foot strip you had, and it looked like 1990s, office staff. So we start cutting little tiny designs in it. For the most part, it was still opaque, but at least it had that creative top, that little touch to it.
Oh, absolutely. And you still can do that with these, but for ease, you can go and just print.
Yeah, no, definitely. Print on something. Then you have, like the World of Colors. Like I saw this and I thought kaleidoscope, thought stained glass, and this is all just digital print on frosted, for the most part, and looks awesome. Looks great. Very cool. All right. Now, I know that at this point in time, if you don't know who SignComp is definitely a household name. They've been going the extra mile and making sure that if you have big runs and you don't have your high-end custom guys going to be locked up for months, you get a SignComp kit, dial it in, a whole lot easier here. This one's new, and the one on the back's the Surefire one. So let's go with the new and shiny one first. Talk to me about this one here. We'll get some of this stuff out of here first. What we got?
Yep. Without taking the whole thing apart, one reason is we forgot to use our Allen wrench to open the door on there. But basically, this is a very simple system for drive-through menus in restaurants. So you'll start to see this system in several of the major fast food drive-through restaurants that we have across the country. But the beauty of this system is that if you were to fabricate this out of sheet metal on your own, it would be a lot of labor. Takes forever. The aluminum on this is a little thicker, so this is a beefier construction.
Yeah, it does. It's got a little bit of work to it.
Extrusion. And Really, all you have to do is buy these from us mitered at 45-degree angles and assemble them, just like all the other sign comp products. And then the remainder would be just inserting your graphics. So those, you just open the front door of these menu systems and you can slide those into position of where you want those graphics and how you want them to read.
And is this a flimsy where you need to connect it on all the edges, or is this something we put in a substrate and it just sits there and sits inside?
Mostly it's going to be a flimsy, and there's a
Okay.
clip on the inside of that frame of the door right here where you slide that graphic up in and then drop it down into the other side of the clip.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Right.
it'll hold it nice and taut, give it a good
It'd
look
be
through it.
very taut, reads well. You have that backer panel that you
Mhm.
can just pop into place on the back of the menu system.
Yep.
And then if you want to light it up, which usually they're lit, you can
course.
put your LEDs on that back panel and backlight your graphics in that directory.
And so for me, let's say I had 36 inch by 42 inch, I could give you those specs and they would come mitered to my shop.
Correct.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Correct. So
Yeah.
we'd prompt you with some questions, like outside diameter of the cabinet,
Mhm.
inside diameter, just to make sure that we get everything cut right so that your graphics fit the way you want them to fit into that cabinet. And we have a photo of the finished piece over there, don't we, Carter?
And is there different, because this has, like I'm guessing like a 2-inch lip for the VO on the inside. Is there different diameters here, or is it kind of the 2 inches what it is?
Right now, it's only the 2-inch.
Okay.
Since this is new, we'll probably
Sure.
expand on it. We're no different than anybody else. When you make it, we got to go sell it, right?
And then we got to make sure that it works and everyone loves it. Then after it gets to become a household name for the menu boards, then we're like, all right, now let's grow upon this.
Yeah.
No,
So here's the flyer.
get it.
Those will have some photos of the finished product put together.
Nice. That looks really good. I mean, very clean. Walks in there. I'm going to show you guys this now. Although you can't see it, we will get this flyer from them and put this on the show notes and then on the YouTube videos. You guys can actually get access to see this.
So, like any other product that we ever introduce, we typically work with a major sign company
Mhm.
to develop a product. So we work the bugs out prior to introducing it. So this really is ready to go to market and will be a time saver like all of the other sign comp products, channel letter raceway, monument cabinets, post and panel systems, everything that we have.
Yep.
And another great plug for sign comp is that everything that they make is made to service. So in that design of any cabinet, wayfinding system, raceway, we design it so that you can go in and change your power supply or service your LEDs or whatever lighting mechanism
Yeah.
you're using.
Update the menu in this case.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I mean, at this point in time, I'm going to totally guess on this, but what, every quarter? They're probably going to change the spring menu, fall menu, winter menu, whatever. And I know Jack in the Box always has some push that they do, and their menu's got to get changed. So
Yeah, absolutely. They do specials that sometimes can last for a week or two, and then those need to be changed to the new special. And so we want to definitely make it easy for the end user.
oh, I like it. So there's just an Allen head wrench, pull it off, slide, put it in, and you're done. We're looking 5-10 minutes,
Yep.
and that's with a couple
Yep,
text
that
messages
easy.
in between.
Right.
Was the average guy sitting there like this, texting while they're trying to work, and
Yeah.
got to take that into consideration these days. All right, now this one's new. I did agree with that, but this old puppy here, tried and true, and then some. And this is one that cracks me up because you guys have had this for so long. And forgive me if there's a new toy in here, because I just look at it as a raceway with an outside clip. But you still see sign shops betting their own raceway still, don't you?
We do.
All the time.
Yeah.
Tell me why we need to be just switching over to this.
In my eyes, it's purely a cost thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know some will argue with me. Hopefully nobody becomes hostile towards me, but we just don't believe that you can fabricate a raceway quicker than using the sign comp prefabbed raceways and just cut them to size.
Yeah, I mean, that's this little piece here. It's I grew up on Lego, so I feel really confident that I can pull this off. But now you have this, you got your cap, and then what is this little middle piece here? Just an attachment since we get to open it.
That's a C
Yeah.
brace.
C brace.
So you can put in this 3.5 inch by 5 inch one piece narrow raceway, you can put that C brace in that top position or down on the bottom position and place your power supply stand or your power supply on that as a
Got it. That
stand.
makes more sense.
When it's up here, you can just hinge that cover open
Mm-hmm.
and service it that way. Then you also have end caps on each end that you can take off and service it through the end if need be. And then we also will give you the CAD files to make your own end caps, so you don't have to buy them from us if you don't want to pay the price that we charge for them.
Gotcha.
So you can just router those out of 040
Mhm.
aluminum and then screw those on right in through the screw boss that's in the raceway.
If you're making less than 5 or 10, I think that's an absolute waste of time to cut your own. But if you're doing 100, maybe you tie up the router for a
Right.
couple hours and see what happens.
Different story. And then,
Yep.
there's times when you don't need the standard size or you need something other than the standard sizes that we provide these raceways in.
Yep.
So we have a family of them. We have 3.5 by 5, one piece narrow. We have a 5 by 5. We have a 3.5 by 5, two piece narrow. We have a 4 by 8 channel letter raceway, and we have an 8 by 8 channel letter raceway.
Who's still using 8x8s?
Believe it or not, some people like the size of it. And every once in a while, there's still a neon transformer that gets thrown in there, and somebody did a set of channel letters in glass, which
If it's the look, if it's that old school look and whatnot, fine, fair enough. But for the most part, good Lord.
Yeah,
Like,
and
it takes away from the appearance of the sign. So smaller is better in my mind at all times.
yeah, that big 8 by 8 channel letter raceway is a monster too. It's real hard to handle. It's heavy,
Mhm.
very thick wall because you can't extrude it that size in a thinner wall. It
Oh,
has
yeah.
to be that big, thick
That's going to get wavy and whatnot.
channel letter raceway.
It's funny. When you see metal, you don't think it's going to bend or warp over time. But sign guys know that this is still a flimsy metal. We can tweak it and warp it anytime we want to. I just always baffled because as a kid, you see metal, like, oh, I can't bend that. It's metal. But in reality, no, very much so.
Absolutely. With the right amount of force, you can definitely do it.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. So yeah, you're going to be, if it's bigger, it's going to be thicker. I mean, it's just a hand in hand existence on that one. But that is definitely the tried and true on that one. Like I always giggle whenever I see anybody that built a raceway, and I'm like, I hope you built a lot of them because if it was a one-off, I'm just dollar to dollar. I'm sorry, it's just not working out for you. It's not.
That's the way we feel. Other people don't always agree with this.
Yeah.
They may have a metal brake that they want to use, and that system works for them, but we sell a ton of channel letter raceway.
I always think it's one of those things where you have somebody that fights, especially a shop guy out on the floor, and he fights tooth and nail. He goes, I can be faster, I can be faster. And in all reality, he might be the same speed. Fair, totally get it. Tie game. But he could have been building something else if I bought the sign comp. And he could have been producing something else versus taking the time on that. And I always think that time value of money all the time. And I look at that and I go, I think someone's trying to, protect their job more than they are to get on the program. When I see the raceways like this, I'm like, I just look at it and go, no brainer. We're going this route. This is easy peasy. So I dig it. I like it. Well, I appreciate all of this and seeing this. And, I don't get to see that stuff much often. Obviously not being in the sign world that much and being more over here on the software side, I don't get to see it. So it's kind of fun. I feel like I get to be a part of this again. So I appreciate that. New exciting stuff that you can't talk about, but you kind of get a hint about. What are we seeing on the horizon?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of times we get kept in the dark as well. And then when all of a sudden we have a new product and we need to get out and sell a lot of it right away.
Mm-hmm.
So we're no different than any other company. But, going forward, I would look for new wide format products from Nakusa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what SignComp has as far as new products right now, but they have put a lot of money into a new website in which you can go on and build your own sign, and then they will reach out to you with a quote.
Yep.
So it's not the old SignComp website where they have the line drawings and you look at them and get intimidated and confused. Much more progressive approach to making cabinets and finding solutions in various depths. You know, our industry seems to be getting more and more shallow.
Mhm.
Channel letter coil, right, was always 5.3 inches deep.
Yep.
Then it went to 3.5 inches deep. Now we see a lot of 2-inch
It's true.
coil
It's out there. It really is.
because the LEDs have changed as well. You can now backlight 2-inch deep faces,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of changes, and I think with SignComp, you'll see changes that will um, be similar to the changes in what our industry desires. And with the other products changing as well, it makes it easier to make, more practical and cost-effective solutions. So I think, the next bond product, the uh, the lower profiles from SignComp are two areas where we're going to see more. Um, with the other products that we represent, Lord Adhesives has a relatively new adhesive, which is their 810, which we recommend for ACM. When you're bonding ACM panels, there's a phenomena that goes from the panel on the back where you're bonding that transfers to the face of your ACM panel, and we call it read through. And you can see a blemish. It's not anything you can touch. It's not indented or changed in any way. It's just the heat from the adhesive on a regular 406 or 40319 transfers and causes a little blemish at the face. With the 810, it runs cooler. It's still about 1,800 pounds per square inch of strength, which is incredibly
Yeah.
strong.
That's super strong.
But that lack of heat keeps that face clean and smooth the way it was meant to be.
That's pretty cool. I do like that. It's funny. I do see those blemishes every once in a while, and I always look at that and I go, "Wonder what happened." So you just you solved a riddle for me just then. So I appreciate that.
No, no, pleasure.
Right, it is. I didn't even think the chemical heat would change the face of it, and then nothing you can do about that. So the 810 fixes problem. Well, right on. Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming on and sharing some of this stuff. Product knowledge it's tough for our industry. It really, really is. So just having any bit of this knowledge and seeing what's going on, I'm all for it. For the listeners at home, do me a favor, comment on this. Tell us what other products you'd like to learn about. Tell us what other things you'd want to have us research. We will do it, bring it on the show, and we'll go from there. Until next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.